What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a big old update about those new starter decks, which are coming around next month for the One Piece TCG, because there's a couple of things we haven't talked about yet, and they have started to be officially revealed. We still don't have proper images on the official website, which frankly makes me very sad. But they have gone and shown us this image of the Edward Newgate deck, so that at least makes me very, very happy. Now, of course, what they're clearly doing here is they're going to be revealing these decks in order. Remember, there are 6 starter decks coming all at once, 1 for each colour, and the first one is starter deck 15, which is, of course, your Edward Newgate starter deck. And they've shared us this other picture as well, showing us the Edward Newgate leader, and the Edward Newgate and Portgas d'Ace characters. One important thing to note here is that each of these decks has an alternate art leader, which here is the Edward Newgate from OP02. All the alt art's done by Basai, who I still contend is doing some of the best art in the One Piece TCG, so that's awesome. And they have 2 super rares. So here, they're new cards, they're super rares, and here, the new cards and the super rares are your Edward Newgate and your Portgas d'Ace. And I got to the bit in the manga yesterday where we met Ace for the first time, and that made me very happy. Ace's introduction is extremely cool. I've read the manga start to current, but I'm rereading it because it's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever read, and I couldn't find anything else I wanted to read as much, so I'm just rereading One Piece because it's that good, and I'm not even joking. So, we've had the official reveal of Starter Deck 15, we've had these proper photos shown off, we are getting down to it. Now remember, as it stands at the moment, they are listed on the website with a release date of October. No other information, just October. Having said that, we've seen from distributors a release date of the 25th of October, and as I've told you many times before, this is not an official release date and absolutely could change, but it is a release date given from Bandai to the distributors and is very, very likely to be real. But there is a big difference between Bandai gave them this release date, it's almost certainly correct, and this is the official announced release date. Right now, they haven't announced it. And as I've told you guys before, the reason for this is really simple. They have to give a release date to distributors so they've got something to work with, but they don't give the release date to us until they're basically 100% sure that they can match it. Right now, they're like 99%. Not official, but come on, that's what we all know is happening. So, that's kind of cool. The fact that we're getting these 6 leaders. Now, it does say on the website, the most prominent leader from each of the 6 colours is back. And I'm sorry, but that's not true, and the people writing the copy knew that wasn't true. Now, if we look at Yellow and Charlotte Katakuri, I'm having to use Japanese images here, obviously, because we don't have the English. If we look at Yellow and Katakuri, I can be convinced about this. That is arguably the most prominent leader that we've had in Yellow in the One Piece TCG. Purple Luffy, I can see an argument there. Even Red Newgate, I can see an argument there for, if you take the body of work of the deck since it was released, that there is at least an argument that they are the most prominent leader. Doflamingo in blue? Yeah, alright, I suppose. Uta actually did win Japan Nationals last year, but that's about all it ever did. But I'm sorry, there is no world whatsoever in which Smoker is the most prominent black leader. No. Absolutely not. There is no way that this is the most prominent black leader that we've had. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Now, admittedly, if we look at the prominent black leaders, we've got like Gecko Moria, but that didn't actually come around until OP06. So maybe that's a bit too late. And then, of course, we had Rob Lucci, but that didn't come around till OP07, which if OP06 was too late, OP07 is definitely too late. And to be fair, we've also got Black Luffy from Starter Deck 14, but that's even later than the other 2. I mean, to be fair, recently Black has been a great, just wonderful colour with some great leaders. And fine, back in OPO2, Smoker was actually the most prominent black leader, but in the OPO3 format, according to Limitless and the results over there that are pretty good, we actually saw that the old Rob Lucci, the one that was nowhere near as good, was a deck doing much better. In the OPO4 format, we had the other Black Luffy starter deck leader doing better. So, look, I like Smoker, and this is my favourite one of the starter decks, but most prominent leader, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Not the point anyway. That was at least a good excuse to talk about all the leaders we are getting in these starter decks. But we've got a presumptive release date of the 25th of October, and here's what's important, because they've added some information to the website. So we got the product names here, fine. Release date of October, like I've said, we're pretty sure it's the 25th, but that's not official. Price is $12, which is interesting, because these were budget decks over in Japan. These were the 500 yen budget decks. Japan does that. They've got basically 1,000 yen decks and 500 yen decks. These were the more budget 500 yen decks. We don't get budget decks. Or our starter decks are going to be $12 or more. We're not getting budget starter decks. What have they done to make up for the fact that these aren't budget? Well, look at the contents. Constructed deck times 1, 51 cards. Don cards times 10, standard. Play sheet times 1. Premium booster pack, PRB-01, times 1. And I had two reactions when I saw this. My first reaction was, oh, that's kind of cool. Whacking a booster pack in here is kind of an extra for buying the starter deck. That's really nice. And Premium Booster 01 is a set that I love. I've called it the best set ever, although honestly I think it might already have been outdone by OPO9, but that's not the point. It's a great set. Love it. Bought literally as much as they would let me when I was in Japan. And then a whole bunch of singles. And I'm loving all of this. And then I realised that these starter decks are coming out before Premium Booster 01. PRB-01, according to the official website, is coming out in November. But again, we have a distributor listing of the 8th of November. So it's going to be early November. That's still 2 weeks. And fine, it's only 2 weeks. But there is going to be a 2-week period where we are having one pack of Premium Booster 01 available in each starter deck. And Premium Booster 01 not being available elsewhere. It is going to be available only as an extra within these starter decks. Now, do we think a lot of people are going to be running out and buying these starter decks to get early packs of this? I would hope not. But then again, people can still be the first to pull a particular card, the first to grade a particular card, the first to list a particular single for sale, etc. So I'm sure some people will. But importantly, it is an option. It is there. And we know there's not going to be a pre-release of Premium Booster 01, because I showed you a couple of days ago that we are getting a release event for the starter decks, but the release event for the starter deck is basically going on until November the 15th, which is a week after the release of Premium Booster 01. So I don't imagine we can have that. Like, it would be super weird to have two pre-releases going on at the same time. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm fairly sure, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure that's not going to be a thing. So yeah, that's really interesting to me. The fact that we're getting a pack of Premium Booster 01, and like I've said, it's one pack and it's in a $12 deck. This is not the most efficient way to get Premium Booster 01, but then we're still in a situation where people can. It is an option in a way that it hasn't been before. I don't know how people are going to react to this. This is not like Starter Deck 13. Starter Deck 13 had limited promo packs, which were only available in Starter Deck 13 and would only ever be available in Starter Deck 13. They were the ones where you got what I call the monochrome card. So if we have a look at the Luffy leader side by side, this is basically what it was, and all the cards other than event cards were available, and you got 3 of them in this promo pack. That was an exclusive pack, which was only ever available as part of Starter Deck 13, which meant Starter Deck 13 was always ridiculously popular, always really sought after, and made a huge difference. Well, here, it's 2 weeks early. The second we hit the 2-week anniversary of these decks, no one cares anymore about getting the pack in there. It's a nice bonus, don't get me wrong, but you can just go and buy packs at that point and it's not going to be the same. What I will say is this. I think a lot of people are going to buy these early. I think that is actually going to end up being the biggest knock-on effect here. I think people who may have been willing to wait a week or two to pick up these decks are going to look at this and go, well, hang on a second. Now we've got guaranteed extra stuff in here. We've got this extra booster pack, which we're getting 2 weeks early. That, to me, is the big difference. And I do think that is going to make a big difference here. Certainly, I was going to buy these decks anyway, right? I'm a massive One Piece TCG nerd. You all knew I was going to go and buy these decks. Is this going to make me go and buy them faster on release day? Yes, absolutely it is. So there we go. We've had the first ones officially revealed, which is nice. And we now know that we are going to have an extra booster pack in there. And because it's too early, because it's 2 weeks early, that could cause some fervor. But I'm going to leave it to you guys. Tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if you think this is going to be legit or not. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.